But again, it just helps you have a good understanding of the breadth that Salesforce can do, what kind of companies that it can support and in what different manners. So awesome to see all these great companies that have RSVP'd. Again, both from a local perspective and some folks that are calling in from around the world. So thank you very much to everybody for coming to the session today. And something new I want to do is I want to give everybody an opportunity to let us know about your recent accomplishments. So if you have been received a certification, earned a certification, or you've ranked up in Trailhead, if you want to either come off mute and say it, or if you want to put it in chat, what you received, just want to be able to say congratulations to folks that have, and give folks an opportunity to let everybody else know that you've earned that certification or that ranking, because both are very time consuming and worthy of being recognized for your accomplishment. So anybody want to speak to that? Or chat to that? I know we have some folks that's earned, like in the last 3 months, if you've earned anything in the last 3 months, whether it's a certification or a ranking.
Hey, Mark, it's Chris Nailway. In the past 3 months, I've hit my 9X for Ranger, trying to get to 10.
9X. Wow. Yeah. Oof, wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I'm trying to get 10 before the end of the year. That's the goal.
Is that it, right? Okay. Okay. There's enough modules to accomplish that, because I've seen it happen to it for a few folks out there. That's for sure. So, and those modules keep growing as well. So, and congratulations to Will for earning his Salesforce admin certification in April. Congrats on that. And also for Saleo for his certification, as well as reaching Ranger status. I did earn Ranger status back in July. It's been a little bit, but I did that back in July as well. So, all right, and I'm going to continue on, but if you want to continue to chat it in the chatter, feel free to do that, just so we can recognize you for that as well. And then also what I've been trying to do here is just kind of find out, where is everybody joining from today? If you can put that in the chat to let everybody know. I know we have quite a few folks that are local to the Jacksonville, the Florida/Georgia area. We sometimes refer to Jacksonville as South Georgia, right? So appreciate everybody joining. But anybody outside of the Jacksonville area, and if you are, if you don't mind just putting something in there to let us know where you're calling in from, so we can see where everybody's joining from. So awesome. So we have a lot of Floridas: Clearwater, Orlando, and Jacksonville. Maryland, great, awesome, Shannon. And then Yvette is in Brunswick. Chris is from Illinois. Andy down in Nocatee, nice. Todd, Santa Rosa Beach. Mike down in St. Augustine, and Pamela, awesome, from Montreal. See, we're international now. That made it official. Thank you, Pamela. Appreciate that. So feel free to continue to post in there where you're calling in from if you haven't already. Appreciate everybody again joining from all over the place. Again, that's one of the great things that I've enjoyed tremendously about the virtual sessions. As much as we all love getting together in person and really getting to know each other, this is awesome too, to get to know and meet some folks outside of our region. So thank you everybody again for joining. Okay. And then, oops, a little bit quick to the, I think I skipped one. No, okay, no, that's it. All right, so last but not least, again, want to say welcome to any new folks to the Trailblazer community. If this is your first Trailblazer community event that you've attended, please let us know either verbally or in the chat. Or if this is your first Jacksonville one, if you would just let us know that we could kind of welcome you to the Jacksonville community group as well. So let us know if anybody wants to kind of mention it verbally. I'll give you a second here to come off mute. And if not, if you want to just chat that as well, that'd be awesome. Awesome, Will, first ever, love it. And Gabriella's has missed a few, but she's back. Happy to have you, Gabriella, to join. So appreciate that. Awesome. First ever for Saleo as well. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Wow, we had 2 folks joining groups for the first time. We definitely appreciate you choosing our Jacksonville community group meeting for that. And again, hopefully you'll learn something cool and get to know some people during our breakout room session as well. That will continue to build your relationships within the ecosystem. Awesome. All right, so, and then finally, forward-looking statements. Some things might be spoken that are not generally available. If you are here to make purchasing decisions, only make them on generally available items, nothing that is either beta, piloted, non-GA, or whatever it's called, other than generally available on products. So, okay. And then before I turn it over to the presenters, the last thing I just wanted to mention, just some housekeeping stuff real quick. Again, if you don't mind just remaining on mute for the majority, but feel free at any time to unmute yourself and ask a question throughout either one of the 2 presentations, or to make a comment to add to whatever's being discussed, whether it's a question or a comment. Also, if you prefer, if you don't want to interrupt and you don't want to forget your question, feel free to chat that question. We'll be kind of keeping an eye on that. And we'll present those questions and discuss them and answer them, or bring up any comment you put in there as well. We would love it if everyone turned their webcam on if you're willing and able to do that. But if not, that's fine as well. The only thing I would ask, because we did have, if you've joined us for previous meetings recently, we did have a bit of an issue with somebody trying to take control of our meeting. So if you're not on cam, I would ask that you please make sure your full name is displayed for yourself as the attendee, and make sure it's the name you use when you register for the event in the Trailblazer community group. So if you don't mind doing that, just so we know everybody's on the up and up that's joined, and nobody's going to try to take control of our screen and write scribble, scrap like happened that last time. So, okay. Thank you very much. All right, so without further ado, before I get started, is there any questions in general about the Jacksonville group here, groups in general, or anything like that before I turn it over to Ben? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna turn this over to Ben. Again, he's gonna go over a bit of a comparison between Pardot and Marketing Cloud, so you have a good understanding of that. Ben has an awesome resume. He is a Pardot and a Salesforce consultant. As I mentioned, he's also a marketing champion and an evangelist. If you are on social media, you know and seen him post, because he does a great job at making sure people find out all the awesome stuff, whether it's product related or job related in the Salesforce ecosystem. He apparently is a proclaimed metalhead, bird watcher, is a fan of the Lightning, Tampa Bay Lightning team, and apparently that's dancing with his what is TDWD?
The Jaguars. Duval till we die.
Duval till we die over there in Tampa. That's awesome. Wow. Don't let the Bucks folks hear you say that. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna stop sharing now, Ben, and I'm gonna turn it over to you. Thank you.
Okie dokie. All right. Is everyone able to see my screen okay?
Gotcha. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. So thanks. Thank you, Mark, for letting me take part in your present to your group here. As Mark said, I'm going to be presenting about Pardot and Marketing Cloud. The idea here is to not go and I'm not going to try to go super detailed, but I want to kind of give you enough information to kind of understand, just have a better sense of what it is that Pardot and Marketing Cloud is and what it does. And so at the end of this, if you have questions, feel free to chatter it, to put it in the chat. Or also, if you want to reach out to me individually, please feel free to do that as well. My name is Ben Lamoth. I am a consultant with Mark at Coastal Cloud. I am 5X certified, 2X Pardot, 2X Marketing Cloud, and then the Salesforce Admin Cert. I have about 5 years of experience working in Pardot, both as an end user / admin for a company, managing it on behalf for a company, and then also as a consultant working with other companies to help improve their instances and do deployments and other things. Pardot is my primary platform. I do have some experience in Marketing Cloud, so I want to apologize in advance if I say something today and then tomorrow you're like, that doesn't sound right. Ben didn't say that about Marketing Cloud. It's possible that I might get something a little wrong or slightly off because I'm not in it every day. That's not my main platform. So I apologize in advance if that happens. I did my best here to kind of try and give you as much good information as possible as I adjust my camera here. Sorry. But yeah, that's kind of my background. As he said, I'm a 2020 Salesforce Marketing Champion, which is pretty cool. You guys probably have heard of other champion programs. Like, I think, Mark, aren't you a Lightning champion?
I am. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep, I sure am.
And then there's Einstein. There's Quip. I don't know if they use Service Cloud Champion or not, but
I don't think so.
I know
there might be one or two others though. Yeah.
There's like Quip, Lightning, Analytics, Marketing, and I'm not sure what the other ones are. But yeah, it's myself and a bunch of people from all over the globe. It's pretty cool. I also run I'm based in the Tampa area, Clearwater, as I said, which is a suburb of Tampa. And I run the Tampa Salesforce Marketer Community Group specifically for Pardot. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at towards the end. So just kind of an overview here I'll be talking about comparing the two platforms. It's possible that you've never heard of one or the other, or you're more familiar with one than the other, and that's fine. I'm going to try to give you as much information as I can without being overwhelming, because it's very easy to get in the weeds about these particular programs because they have some similarities, but they also have some differences. So let's kind of talk about how they're different to start off with. And I wanted to give you quotes of here's how Salesforce describes the two. So Salesforce in their About Us says, Pardot, B2B marketing automation by Salesforce, offers a marketing automation solution supporting the needs of B2B organizations of every size. And there's an emphasis on the B2B part with a caveat. So Pardot is the primary use case is around B2B, both mid-size, it can be large, and also small. There are plenty of use cases. I say caveat because there are plenty of nonprofits that use Pardot successfully. I have several clients who are kind of nonprofits through and through, and they're able to successfully use Pardot. They usually pair it up with NPSP, and it works pretty well. NPSP is the nonprofit success pack. That kind of latches onto Sales Cloud to add some of that nonprofit functionality around donor services and things nonprofit related. A lot of those objects kind of come with the pack, and Pardot is able to support these nonprofit functions pretty well. So it is B2B with nonprofits, and then also to a degree higher education in certain situations. And Marketing Cloud, and Salesforce describes Marketing Cloud as the platform for delivering relevant, personalized journeys across channels and devices, enabling marketers to deliver the right message at the right time throughout all phases of the relationship. You'll notice that the Marketing Cloud description is a bit longer, and it covers a lot more ground than the first one, than Pardot, and that's kind of by design. Pardot, the ideal audience, like I said, is B2B and nonprofits. So there's also education in there as well. There is some B2C, but it's very much kind of driven by a specific use case. So the typical customers tend to be small, medium size organizations. Pardot is very focused on email marketing. It's able to do some other stuff, but it's kind of through and through, like the typical, like the main functionality here is, from an outbound perspective anyways, is email. The communications tend to be a little more one-to-one, and I say one-to-one in brackets because it's like it can both do the one-to-one email, but it's more of a high-touch, personalized experience. They're trying to, ultimately Pardot is designed to help people nurture, help organizations nurture individuals through a sales process, through a funnel, from awareness to conversion. That's kind of That's very much Pardot's kind of wheelhouse, is getting someone here, bringing someone into your database to get them interested in whatever product or solution or whatever your endpoint is, nurturing them along the way via email to becoming to converting, to donating, or to signing a contract or re-signing a contract, or anything kind of in between. That's Pardot's very much in Pardot's wheelhouse. Pardot is a Lightning app in Sales Cloud. So you download the app, and it literally, like when you log into Salesforce, there's a Pardot app that you can open. And I like to tell people that Pardot is Salesforce. So when you log into Salesforce, you have effectively logged into Pardot. You just have to find the app and open it. There's some obviously permission sets that have to be enabled to make people but I'm not going to go into all that detail. I just, for the purpose of this conversation, Pardot is Salesforce. It has kind of lower technical requirements when it comes to implementation and management. The admin should be aware, and there's some stuff that an admin has to do or needs to help with to make it work well, to make Pardot work well. But after that initial engagement of kind of helping, they're kind of done. Unless something new functionality comes up and they need the admin's help to enable it, which happens, is generally speaking kind of on an as needed basis after that initial implementation is done. There's some IT related requirements that is kind of separate from the Salesforce admin. That is more around email sending and domain and DNS records. Pardot is also, generally speaking, it comes in at a lower price point, both in terms of initial cost and also initial cost, setup cost, and maintenance costs. Generally, those three things tend to be on the lower side compared to Marketing Cloud. The model for Pardot is around what are called contact blocks and mailable contacts. So when I say mailable contacts, I mean myself and Mark. Let's say we're in a database in Pardot, and I have 10,000. I am allowed to have in my Pardot instance 10,000 mailable prospects. Myself and Mark are in there as mailable prospects. Mark decides to opt out. So I had, let's say basically now I now have a spot available for another mailable contact to come in to take Mark's place. Everything is around mailable status, whether they've opted out or they've hard bounced. So I like to explain to people that you are paying for the privilege of having someone in that Pardot database. And that kind of reinforces the idea of if they don't have a marketing end use for you, a sales end use, a marketing end use, if you're not emailing them, trying to get them across a line, upselling them, cross-selling them, doing something with them, they probably shouldn't be in your Pardot database. They can be in your Salesforce database and be fine. They just may not need to exist in Pardot because you're paying for those people to be in there. Because what will happen is organizations won't stick to that, and they will have thousands and thousands of people in there who they're not engaging. And instead of being proactive, they'll just keep buying blocks and adding their investment. Salesforce is like, yes, let's do that. But for you, when you're trying to pay, it's just costing you more money. So I try to make that equation, kind of help them understand that your Pardot database, everyone starts out with 10,000 prospects. With the exception of the highest level of Pardot, everything below that is you start out with 10,000 mailable prospects. And the idea is that you have these 10,000 because people will start coming in and leaving your database once they've met a certain end goal. So this is a nurture engine, trying to get people through a funnel to get to sales, so sales can nurture them and close them. And how that's kind of different from Marketing Cloud is Marketing Cloud is B2B. It does have B2B functionality, but it is largely B2C enterprise audience. It's much more than email marketing. It's capable it's capable of a lot of multi-channel SMS, push messaging, social, just enormous. Like the amount of things that Marketing Cloud can do is kind of incredible. It is a single platform that does not live in Salesforce. It is a separate platform requiring a separate login. So when you go to login.salesforce.com and you log in, you're not logging into Marketing Cloud. You have to go to, I think it's actually Exact Target. It's still the login, because that's what the company was. So you had to log in.exacttarget.com and do your input. And like you'll notice, especially if you go to log into Salesforce.com, or no, so the partner, at the very least the partner portal, and you click login, it says Salesforce or Marketing Cloud login, because they're different. They're just different platforms. They're on entirely different worlds. And it's not Pardot is a very self-contained platform. Everything kind of lives in Pardot. Email and landing pages and all the other stuff that I'll get into later, they're all very much in the platform. Marketing Cloud is enterprise, B2C and large B2Bs. And it tends to be more of a one-to-many audience. So when I say one-to-many, I mean in a B2C sense, some of the largest brands that you can think of are probably Marketing Cloud customers, especially if they're consumer goods. So if there's like example of like Best Buy, because I know that Best Buy uses the Marketing Cloud, they will send an email to 4 million people or 500,000 people who all have their credit card. And those emails are there's a lot of technical requirements that go into that email to make it personalized and custom to you. So it's that one-to-many that Marketing Cloud specializes in, that it's not a nurture engine, it's a awareness engine to get them to do, ultimately they do want them to do something, but it's to get them to, I don't know, click through to visit a website to purchase a product or something like that. It's not about converting in the B2B sense of, I filled out a form, call me up and let's get a deal done. It's more e-commerce, more e-commerce and generally commerce driven. And there are use cases that are outside of that, but it's a larger platform across the board. It has a higher price point for at purchase, implementation and maintenance. And the actual model is also different from Pardot. How I said Pardot earlier was the number of mailable prospects you have in your database. Marketing Cloud is different. You can have 1 million people in your database, but you're only going to pay for the number of messages that you send. So if you have 1 million people in your database, but you're only going to send, I don't know, 1 million. Let's say you have 2 million in your database. You're only going to send 500,000 messages that year. You're only going to pay for half. You're going to buy, and it's kind of a funny name. They're called super messages. You buy blocks of super messages, and your outbound messages that you send consume those messages. I realize it's kind of high concept at this point, and I don't want to get too in the weeds, but it's just different. The way that they evaluate databases is just very different. It's mailable prospects. How big is your database for Pardot? And it's how many people are you going to, how many messages you want to send in Marketing Cloud.
I have a quick question, Ben. You mentioned earlier, if they're not engaged or nothing's happening with them, you don't want them clogging up and sitting in your product. Does Pardot and Marketing Cloud both have an easy way to identify folks that are not engaged or have unsubscribed or whatever, that kind of thing?
Yeah, they both have different ways of doing that. Pardot, there are some different mechanisms that you can use. There's automations that you can build there that will tell you they have never opened an email or they have not had any activity in the last 6 months. Okay. And then Pardot has a functionality called the recycle bin, where you're able to send them to this recycle bin. It's basically a sub database, but it's an inactive database. Okay. And so these people don't count against your database numbers. They don't count against your mailable prospects once they're in the recycle bin. And there are ways also for Marketing Cloud to identify who they're sending, who's not responding, and they can that can be suppressed, and you can do things differently there. Mm-hmm. But the way, and I'm gonna get into this in a little bit, but the data modeling in Marketing Cloud is several orders of magnitude more complex than Pardot.
Sure.
But before I get there, I do want to talk about the ways in which they are similar, because there are ways that these two platforms do have some things in common. So there's like some core, so at a high level, some of their core functionalities are similar. Email, landing pages, nurture programs, social posting, CRM. Yes, some of them, and there's some caveats in here. Social posting, Pardot can do it, but not nearly at the level that Marketing Cloud can do it. CRM integration, and they both are yes, but yes in different ways. Multi-channel, Pardot can be made to do some multi-channel, like there's third-party add-ons that you can bring in for SMS, but it's not a native experience. There's webinars, there's webinar-related things you can bring into Pardot, but again, you're basically just kind of clamping things onto the platform to bring data in. It's not a native thing. Whereas in Marketing Cloud, all these things, SMS, push messaging, everything in between is natively integrated. They all have web forms, and you can all do scheduled emails as well. Those are all within the realm of what both can do. And I wanted to bring this up because I want to give you a sense of the kind of organizations that use Pardot. So this is obviously just a small collection. These are the ones that I'm aware of, or people who I know who use it. And there's some in here that are obvious, like you have SPCA, Valpak. Some of these are commerce. Some of these do actually have some B2C, like obviously like United, Slack, and there are use cases where organizations have both, where Pardot, like I can speak specifically to FAU because I've worked with them, and they do have two different systems. The Pardot system is designed to nurture a specific subset of their potential students. And the other one is to drive awareness. Marketing Cloud is to drive awareness about the university to a larger group of people. But for one subset, like let's say transfers, for example, that's a very contained audience. And so because it's a contained audience, and you're trying to get them to convert, trying to get them to effectively decide to convert to become a transfer, that fits Pardot's, that is a great use case for Pardot. Similarly for Zoom, if you have a product and you're trying to resell, upsell to a specific audience, to get them to complete a specific goal, Pardot is a great use case for that. All these companies here have great individual use cases for Pardot. United, I don't know the exact use case. I'm sure United is a similar way. United they probably have a subset of their audience that is people who are maybe like high level. I don't know. They're people who have a high level of points, and you're wanting to get them to do something, to work with a partner program, and you're trying to get them to nurture them to convert. All of that is great for Pardot. Same thing, University of Iowa and Media Current, Zoom. Zoom is a Pardot customer. Everyone knows Zoom. We're on a Zoom right now. Everyone knows Zoom, and it's because Zoom is, again, nurturing people who are nurturing for like enterprise accounts. If let's say they're in competition with Microsoft Teams, they're talking to a university, or they're talking to a medium-sized organization, then they're wanting that. Pardot works well because you can do a lot of triggered activities to nurture people along the way to assist in the sales process. One thing I want to actually bring up that I meant to mention earlier is that something that was actually explained to me by Pardot on a partner call. How they explained it is Pardot is marketing automation used for enabling a Salesforce that operates in Salesforce. When I heard that, I was like, that's a great summation of like how that, like, of the role that Pardot plays. Thinking about it, at least from a B2B organization or a B2B-like sales organization, Pardot is meant to enable the sales org to be able to close quicker, to have better prospects, more qualified prospects, and so on. So I'm going to kind of now show the opposite. brands that are using Marketing Cloud. None of these should be surprising. These are large consumer brands. They have complex customer journeys that run across several different mediums, push notifications. They got complex data. They have tremendous amounts of data coming from many different places. Marketing Cloud is well suited to be able to ingest and manage that data coming from other places. And a lot of it has to do with SQL. If Marketing Cloud has a lot of SQL, especially if you have complex data coming in. SQL you're going to have to use SQL for it to work well. And this is just a collection. Pretty much any large brand you can think of, like consumer brand, is either using Adobe Experience Cloud or Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Those are really the two that companies will use. So now, let's look a little closer about what Salesforce Marketing Cloud actually is. So Salesforce Marketing Cloud is made up of 9 unique tools within the platform. These are some of the studios. Everything. So you have Marketing Cloud, then you have studios within Marketing Cloud. So it's like here's the container, then there's everything within there, and they're each their own separate platform, really. They're kind of sub-platforms in a way. So email, audience, mobile, social, journey, automations, advertising, interactions, data, all of it is they all live together and they share data between each other's platforms. That's what I mean about there being a more complex data architecture here. It's also similarly, this will be familiar with software, with hardware and with storage. It's a tenant-driven architecture. So you have a tenant, then you have what are called business units. And I'm going to kind of show you an example of what that means. This is an example this is called Enterprise 2.0 in Marketing Cloud. This is the example of a tenant and then several business units that exist within a single tenant. So you think of business units as subsidiaries. So you have the main company. You have, I don't know, let's say you have, I don't know, Kellogg's, or what was a brand that was back here? So let's think of, I don't know, Unilever. So Unilever is the main one. And then we have business unit A, which might be one brand. Business unit B is another Unilever brand. C is another Unilever brand. And so within these business units, they then have elements within each business unit. And there's unique security requirements, security layers that exist over all of these that enable or disable access, depending on where you are in the organization, what your role is, and things like that. So there's a lot more to it than that, but this is meant to kind of, at a high level, Pardot's data model is very contained by comparison. It's literally Salesforce data. It's either in the Pardot database or it's in Salesforce. That's it. There's very few, unless you're using the API, which is certainly possible, but that's different because this all lives in the same database. This all lives in the same organization. We have business units and you have data, they're called data extensions. It's just a lot more in Marketing Cloud than there is in Pardot. But speaking of Salesforce and how Marketing Cloud and Salesforce work together, this is what's called Marketing Cloud Connect. So Marketing Cloud Connect combines digital marketing capabilities of Marketing Cloud with the data management, segmentation, and campaign stuff that's in Salesforce. So you can create unitary or singular customer relationships with more data-driven, personalized conversations, and you have the ability to automate the entire customer journey. So you're able to leverage the data that exists in Pardot, in Salesforce, and you're able to marry that with Marketing Cloud. This allows you to access, and then so you can actually access some elements of Marketing Cloud directly in Sales or Service Cloud through Marketing Cloud Connect. So if there's things if you have a sales team or you have people who don't need access to Marketing Cloud, the platform, but they do want to be able to do some things in Marketing Cloud, some Marketing Cloud functions in Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, they can. And that's through this Marketing Cloud Connect function. and you're able to ensure kind of that consistent brand and message experience while reaching out to customers with the correct kind of messaging, using a lot of what are called a lot of merge language to say, hey, Mark, you looked at these images, these products on our website that says Best Buy. Hey, Mark, they're going to know that you were on the Best Buy website, and they're going to know in Salesforce that you have purchased X, Y, and Z things in the past. And from their tracking, they'll be able to see all of your tracking, all of your visits. So they'll be able to create an email using several pieces of data to merge it all together into a single email to show you this very personalized experience. And I'm sure some of you on the phone who have credit cards with Best Buy or with whoever, that you'll get these emails and it'll show you like your balance on the email. That's a separate data. That's a separate data point that is being queried to show that's tied to your unique ID. So everyone who gets an email has a different number of whatever's available on their credit card balance. And Marketing Cloud Connect kind of facilitates that connection. And this is where this is a function that the Salesforce admin is going to have to be very deeply involved with, because there is a lot of lifting here, a lot of enablement, a lot of new permission sets that come with Marketing Cloud Connect that need to be enabled, need to be assigned. And there's even more things that I'm not 100% familiar with. Because like I said, I don't spend a lot of time in Marketing Cloud to that level, but I do know that enabling the connection between Pardot, between Marketing Cloud and Salesforce is significantly more labor intensive than Pardot. Now let's turn the page back to Pardot. By comparison, you see this is a lot thinner. Pardot's core is email, automation, and content. And then I kind of put them all together. So you've got in email, you've got things like lists, emails, triggered emails, scheduled emails, you've got automations. I don't want to go into all these, but basically it's very self-contained and as an app that lives within Lightning. And it exists ultimately as an extension of Sales Cloud. Pardot is able to grab data from Sales Cloud and some of Service Cloud, but kind of barely. It's just a different kind of data model. But this is really all the core elements. Whereas with Marketing Cloud, we have several studios that exist within the larger platform. There are no studios in Pardot. They're just, here's the email marketing part, here's the form builder and the landing page builder, here's where you build your segmentations and your lists, and here's how you create your forms. I mean, by comparison, it's much less complex. And this is actually my last slide, because I know that I'm kind of probably coming up on time shortly. But I wanted to show you this as an example of the Pardot-Salesforce integration and how this would work. So in this example, this is a net new prospect, someone who is new, doesn't exist in Pardot, doesn't exist in Salesforce. They say, okay, I found your landing page on Pardot. I'm going to fill out this Pardot landing page. And I am now, they've completed the form, and now they're in Pardot. Pardot's now going to, there's an automation that you can create that'll say, okay, has this person already been assigned to a Salesforce user? That's critical. For somebody to get added into Salesforce, they have to be assigned in Pardot to a user in Pardot that is also connected to a corresponding user in Salesforce. If that does not happen, this person does not get created in Salesforce. This facilitates that whole idea of within Pardot of conversion. So somebody comes in, marketing can say email, 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 and then once they hit a certain level, a certain threshold, you can then assign them to a user that will then push them into the sales part of the process in Salesforce of going through the qualification, adding them to an opportunity, and so on. That's how it's supposed to work. A lot of organizations don't do it that way, but this is what Pardot needs. So Pardot, in order to be able to create this person in Salesforce, this person has to be assigned to a connected user. So where this says is, are they assigned a user? No. Add an action to assign the user to a prospect that is to a user that is Salesforce connected. So next, Salesforce is going to say, all right, cool, thank you. Now I'm going to add them. It's going to ask a question. Does this person, now it's going to ask Salesforce, okay, does this person already exist? Because the process goes, it's going to look for a contact, finding none, it'll look for a lead. Finding none, it'll then create a lead. That process can be reversed, where it'll say looking for a lead, finding none, looking for a contact, finding none creates contact. There are plenty of organizations that don't use a lead object. And so Pardot is able to support that by, instead of using leads, it forgoes leads and just directly creates contacts. Similarly, if this person already exists in Salesforce, if the contact already exists, it's going to sync it with that existing contact. Same thing for a lead. Pardot is also able to support person accounts. Pardot can be configured to create person accounts instead of leads or contacts. And in that scenario, Pardot will either create leads or only create person accounts. It can't be both. It's either you use leads or you don't. Pardot also is able to bring in, speaking kind of the assignment stuff earlier, Pardot can also bring in your queues. It can assign to Salesforce queues. It can assign, you can also, when someone comes in, you can create an automation that will push the person into Salesforce without having been assigned yet. It will assign this person via active assignment rules in Salesforce. So think of it as someone comes in, fills out a form, automatically there's an automation that says, okay, assign this person via active assignment rules. It will then automatically kick them up into Salesforce to then be subject to whatever automation, whatever winds that are blowing that will pick them up and assign them to the right person. That assignment then flows back downstream into Pardot. So now that person's owner is the owner that was assigned as a result of the active assignment rules in Salesforce. Pardot is able to assign when there is no owner, but Pardot is not able to change an owner in Salesforce. The only way to change an owner is Salesforce to Pardot. If you were to try and change an owner in Pardot, say, okay, if the owner in Pardot is this, change it to this. When Salesforce and Pardot sync, it's going to ignore Pardot's request because that person already has, because that leader contact is already owned in Salesforce. It's only Salesforce to Pardot that assignments can change. The Pardot can create but not update ownership. And one of the last things I want to say is that when it comes to syncing with Pardot and Salesforce, Salesforce is able to sync with leads, contacts, accounts, person accounts, opportunities, and campaigns. It's also, and so anything that I didn't mention there, I know that there are plenty of objects that exist that are considered standard objects in Salesforce, like the case object and any like order objects, things like that. Pardot is not able to sync with those unless you specifically, unless you have a functionality called custom object syncing. And I realize that's not a custom object in Salesforce, but in Pardot, that's considered custom. That requires separate functionality to be able to access that data. And Pardot is then able to read custom object data. Excuse me, it's not able to write to these objects.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Thank you very much for the presentation and the details. This is very informative. This is Andy, by the way. I'm going to have to step out for another call at some point. So I just wanted to get this question in. Let me know if this is not the place, but for people like me who are interested in all this and learning all this stuff, as far as I understand, Pardot has a dev org now, dev instance that you can get and play with. On the marketing side, I don't think there is anything. So how would you go about learning these platforms?
So you're right, Pardot does have a dev org that's available. I believe it's available. I know that it's available for partners. I don't know if it's available beyond that. There's like a download link to go to a partner if you're in the partner portal. Marketing Cloud, that is a big drawback. Marketing Cloud does not have a dev org. And that's part of because it's a totally separate platform. Because within Salesforce, you log into Salesforce, you get Pardot. It's easy to just kind of say, all right, put Pardot in there. So the answer is that there really isn't one, unfortunately. The way to like the hands-on is to I mean, work somewhere that has a training org. It's not the best, and that's not the best example, unfortunately, or explanation. But I know that there are trailheads that recently came out that
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I saw something about that with Marketing Cloud. I think that kind of helps you simulate hands-on experience or something, but it's not real.
It's relatively new. They do simulate. They do offer to be able to simulate some of the email in Email Studio, some of those email sending experiences.
So
but unfortunately, there isn't a dev org.
So the answer is kind of internet Best Buy and, email 1 million people by accident or something.
Yeah,
that's right. Learn on the job, right?
Pretty much.
Your PlayStation 5 will never be there.
Yeah, I mean, another way I would recommend is, I know that there are Marketing Cloud user groups that exist all over the place, and they do meet regularly. I mean, I would just look to see, man, almost everyone's virtual now. So there are several that you are able to join. Same with Pardot, and they'll be talking. They'll sometimes do like screen shares of they'll get in the platform and show you things. So that's also a great way to try and glean some information about the platforms.
Okay, Ben. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I think that's really kind of at a high level. I didn't want to get too into details with these platforms, but I wanted to kind of give you guys enough to understand that they are different in ways, but they're also similar in some ways. But also, who would use one platform over the other? Because some people will say, well, why would I use Marketing Cloud instead of Pardot, or vice versa? And it's without knowing at least a little bit, it's hard to say. But knowing that if you take away anything from this, know that Marketing Cloud is a massive platform that is designed for large enterprises, that is very much that is multi-channel. Pardot is designed for B2B organizations, nonprofits, and higher education, smaller, more personalized experiences designed to convert and nurture people. Marketing Cloud can nurture, but it's not nearly as good at it, and whereas Pardot, that's what it's designed to do. So with that, I'll kind of hand it back to Mark. I did want to say one thing, that I do run the Salesforce Marketer Community Group for Pardot in Tampa, and our next meeting is on the 29th, and we're going to be going over advanced lead qualification tactics with a presentation by a guy named Chris Arias, who is the marketing automation manager for a healthcare software company here in Clearwater called Fair Warning. And feel free to look us up online. And also feel free to come connect with me on LinkedIn if you want. I'm there. So
awesome.
With that, thank you.
Okay.
And I will hand it back to Mark.
All right, thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. That was, like Andy said, very informative. Appreciate the last little statement summary you said really kind of summed it up well. As far as where's the use cases for each one, right? Out of all that data, but like you said, they could do quite a bit individually. So appreciate you doing that. And then so I'll make sure for the folks that are on here, I'm going to share the recording for anybody that's coming and going throughout the session. And then I'll make sure I get Ben's deck, and then the one that the Accounting Seed folks will be presenting to you, and I'll make sure I share those with you as well. And Ben, maybe if you don't mind, if you're able to just kind of identify maybe a few Trailhead modules, whether it's Pardot or whatever training, like where's the best training resource for each one of those, and just add that to your deck. That'd be awesome. That way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll give you guys. I'll include some stuff in that as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, thanks again. So before we we're going to do break room next. But before we do that, a couple of things. Just want to see if anybody had any other questions or comments about Ben's presentation on Pardot versus Marketing Cloud. Anything to add or any questions to ask? Okay. All right. So appreciate that. So if not, then I am going to actually pause the recording because what we're doing. All right. So we're done with the breakout room. So now let's. I'm going to turn it over to Elle and Mitch over there at Accounting Seed. Elle is a sales product consultant, and Mitch is a solutions engineer at Accounting Seed, and they're going to give us an overview of Accounting and Seed. And again, as I've mentioned, working for Coastal Cloud, we have supported and helped implement many clients with Accounting Seed. So great product on platform, awesome to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Elle and Mitch, and you guys can go ahead and get started. I'm going to stop sharing and go for it.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, just to reiterate what Mark was saying, Accounting Seed and Coastal Cloud are partners. We've been partners for quite a long time here. Coastal Cloud is actually one of our premier partners, so we're always very excited to work with them and help out in any way we can. Like I said, great group over there. So looking forward to talking to everybody today. Just wanted to, again, welcome everybody. As we're going through things, you guys, I'm not sure how it was earlier with the other presentations, but Mitch and I are here to answer your questions. So please feel free to jump in at any time. You don't have to hold your questions to the end. We're very good about jumping in, so not a problem at all. Make sure you stop us. Mitch and I like to talk. We can talk about Accounting Seed for days and days, so stop us at any time, okay? A little bit about us. So like I said, my name's Elle Carter. I've been with Accounting Seed for almost 3 years now. I actually started on the support side with implementing our product, and my background though is actually project management. So I have a PMP certification. Mitch is one of our solutions engineers. He's been with Accounting Seed for 5 years. He's also implemented our product, fully knows it. He's very well versed with Accounting Seed, and Salesforce as well. So we'll be talking to both of us today. How are you doing, Mitch? Can you hear us okay?
Yep, I can, and I'm very excited to be here with everyone today. I look forward to talking about Accounting Seed and what we offer and answering any questions you guys have.
Awesome. Thanks, Mitch. Okay, so a little bit about Accounting Seed for those of you that aren't familiar. So Accounting Seed started in 2008, and we actually started, our CEO, Tony Zorg, what he found was that traditional accounting applications were very difficult to integrate. They weren't built with a flexible mindset. They were very limited with customization and automation. You couldn't really do a lot of things. These could be some things that you guys are currently hearing with your clients or people that you might be working with, or even within your organization. That it's hard to integrate the systems. Two systems aren't talking. You're having to continually work between multiple systems, continue having to reconcile things like that. So what we then did was we decided to look towards the #1 CRM in the world, which was Salesforce, and we decided to build our application right on the Force.com platform. So with that, we were then able to leverage everything that Salesforce has. I know you guys are all familiar with Salesforce. We've got a lot of Salesforce administrators here. So everything that you can do in Salesforce flows through to Accounting Seed since we're built right on the platform. So that allows us to be completely flexible, completely configurable, allows you to connect to many different applications because that open API, open architecture that we leverage. And most importantly, we're also cloud-based as well. This then became the Accounting Seed mission, really, for us to be the world's most flexible, completely streamlined front to back office solution. So now by adding to that Force.com platform, what you've done is you've created everything that you do front of the house operations. We've now added Accounting Seed to that. And this now gives you that full scope of your entire operation, your front to back office solution. Hopefully you guys had a chance to check us out on the Salesforce App Exchange. If you didn't, please feel free to go over there, see what our clients are saying about us. We're actually the #1 native accounting solution on the Salesforce App Exchange, over 320 reviews, 4.8 out of 5 stars. I'm really excited about that. Love being a Salesforce partner. Really love harnessing the power that Salesforce has to offer. So feel free to check us out on the App Exchange. Couple other awards we like to point out here, especially Mitch and I. Both of us are coming from the support side. We love working with Coastal Cloud. These guys are supporting our product as well. So a couple of awards over here from G2 Crowd, Best Support Fall 2020 and Highest User Adoption 2020 as well. really what these awards mean is that we're here to make sure that not only you, your clients, everybody is fully understanding the system, that you're fully supported. We're here to make sure that during implementation, you understand everything. Coastal Cloud is also here to make sure that you guys are fully understanding. As your business continues to grow, we're here with you through all those phases that you're going through. We're here to make sure that you understand, you can add different applications, you can do many different things, really create a completely streamlined all-in-one solution. And this is the power that Coastal Cloud also offers, really creating a complete streamlined solution, everything all in one. And that's the whole point of adopting the whole system. Using all of Salesforce's technology, we've now added accounting seed functionality as well, and keeping everything singular and keeping everything in a streamlined solution for you. So a couple other awards over there too, but we'll stick with those since Mitch and I are kind of partial to that right now. Different applications you guys might have heard of and hopefully seen about, but one that we offer with our product automatically is Stripe. So Stripe is our payment processing. This really allows you to do many different things. So when you're sending out an invoice from our system, what happens is there's actually a link on there. Clients can go ahead, click that link, and they can enter in their credit card information. What that does on the back end with Accounting Seed is it automatically creates a cash receipt. It applies it to that billing, and it closes out that billing. So it's a completely automated process through just a single click of a button. So it really keeps everything all together for you. Avalara for sales tax as well. And then, quite a few others over here. Again, keep in mind, if these are just a few of the applications that we're connected to, there are many more. We're leveraging, again, that open API, that open architecture from Salesforce. So really you can connect any different one. And I'm sure, Mark can absolutely speak to this too, but Coastal Cloud has done tons of different integrations and helping assist with that. Again, it's keeping everything on a single platform that Coastal Cloud and Accounting Seed help you to do. Okay. Any questions so far? I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Hear you guys all quiet and muted over there. I want to make sure we're getting any questions? Okay, I guess I'll take silence as good news. It's kind of like the doctor's office, right? No news is good news. All right, built-in Accounting Seed functionality. A couple areas we're going to focus on today. We'll take a look at the general ledger functionality. So this is really financial reporting. Again, we have different financial reporting tools that we use, one of them being the Salesforce Reporter. That's part of our management tool. So we'll take a look at that. I know you guys are all familiar with that. Again, leverage from Salesforce flows through to Accounting Seed. We can also do budgeting in the system. If you're working with a client or anybody that has a need for multi-currency, multi-company, that's absolutely part of the system as well. So really full general ledger capability there. Banking, this is another huge one of ours. So we are connected to over 14,500 different banks and credit card institutions. What this allows is for you to have that bank feed come into the system. It makes for a much easier reconciliation process so that you can go ahead and manage that side of it. I know you guys might not be doing all of that, but the accounting team definitely does. But we're able to connect to these different banks and credit card institutions so that through that open architecture, through that open API that is being leveraged. Billing as well. So in Accounting Seed, you can have, recurring billings, cash receipts, different collection, revenue recognition, all of that. Money going out of the business as well. So accounts, paying your vendors, things like that. We do also offer orders and inventory. So there is an ERP side over there. So if any sales orders that need to be placed, purchase orders, all of that part of the system. Inventory allocation also. So this allows for real-time inventory balances as inventory is leaving the warehouse, coming into the warehouse, that's automatically updated. This is all real-time. We're, again, leveraging everything from Salesforce. So you have that full visibility into the system. And then we do allow for serialized inventory, bundling, kitting. We do allow for multiple warehouses, multiple locations, things like that. All of that tracked within the system. Also project accounting. So taking a look at project profitability, adding time and expense. So if you've got some users that are needing to add time cards into the system, any expense reports, Accounting Seed can absolutely handle that. That's all in there. And then again, so different integrations we do have within the system. So Stripe is one of the ones we talked about, Avalara, connecting your different banks and credit cards, and then as well as payroll file import. So we do have a payroll file import, and Accounting Seed will really work with any payroll company. I know that's kind of a loaded thing to say, but we truly will work with any payroll company. The reason for that is because we actually, most payroll companies, what they'll do is they'll provide you with what they call a general ledger export file. That export file, through leveraging Salesforce's, import wizard, that's just dragged and dropped into the system. From there, Accounting Seed then takes over, and journal entries and different allocations can be added accordingly. So great area over there. Another one that we see a lot of people using is actually portal access. So Accounting Seed uses this as well. We are leveraging Salesforce communities for this. And what this allows you to do is then expose different areas of this all-in-one solution of Salesforce and of Accounting Seed through however way you'd like to do that. So we have a lot of people that like to have their customers view some billings, maybe past invoices, or even pay through a portal. So that can easily be done. We also have a lot of businesses that like to have their vendors just submit payments through the portal as well, so they're not having to continually go through there. So that can easily be done. Coastal Cloud has a lot of experience with creating communities and things like that. So all of that functionality is leveraged then in Accounting Seed. Okay. This is more for our nonprofits. I'm not sure if many of you are working for nonprofits, but we do have some specific functionality for our nonprofits. So any sort of donor management that's coming in, so pledges, donations, things like that, that can all be tracked within the system also. And then also grants and programs. So any sort of fund allocations, whether those are restricted, unrestricted funds, that's absolutely in there. If there's any sort of allocations that need to be done with different departments, we can go ahead and track all of that in the system. And then reporting functionality as well for nonprofits. So things like statement of activities, financial position, fund reporting, again, against those, restricted, unrestricted funds, any others, functional expenses, and then grant tracking as well. All of that can be done within the system as well. And then a donor portal also. So not just for your clients, but also for your donors, all of that leveraged in the system. Okay, built-in platform functionality. I know you guys will be all familiar with this slide. So again, all of this is coming from Salesforce, flows through to Accounting Seed. So different security. We do leverage permission sets, roles, hierarchies. This allows you, as you guys know, to grant access to really any part of the application. You can get as obtuse or as granular as you'd like with that, all the way down from restricting a certain object, granting access to a certain object, all the way down to restricting a field. And all of that is still part of Accounting Seed because we're leveraging that from Salesforce. Custom user interface as well. Drag and drop different pages. You can have different record types according to the different processes that you might have with your organization, dragging and dropping those so that every user has their own custom user interface. This allows for a much more efficient job flow, and all of that can be done within Accounting Seed as well. Adding any sort of data fields as well. Any fields that need to be added can still be added to Accounting Seed page layouts, things like that. We've kept that completely open. You guys all know it takes about 60 seconds to add a custom field that you want to add, whether that's a currency, data type, a date data type, or text data type. All of that can be added to Accounting Seed as well. 60 seconds to do that. And again, this is all point and click. You guys are all familiar with that. And then, same thing, sending out any tasks, any alerts, messages, emails, billings or invoices are overdue, automatically sent from the system. We do leverage Salesforce's scheduled jobs for that. So all of that can be done. Any sort of approval processes also that you guys need to set up. These could be for purchase orders. These could be for approving certain opportunities, things like that. Approval processes can be added. They can be single level, multi-level, things like that. all of that. Chatter within the system gives you full visibility to be able to, to track those different records, assign different tasks, just check up on things. Again, flows through to Accounting Seed also, as well as document management. So if there's any sort of invoices that need to be attached to the system, any sort of PDFs, images, all of that can be added. And you guys know the great part about adding that is that invoice, that PDF image, it now becomes a global search. So you can search that through Salesforce, and then you can find every record that PDF has been attached to. So great functionality there. And then, different environments. So Accounting Seed does, when you install our product, you can always create a sandbox. We love when sandboxes are created. We've got about 3 different releases that we push out a year. And we always recommend, playing in that sandbox environment, becoming familiar with the new features that we have, testing out any customizations or any sort of approval processes, anything like that within the system. So multiple environments there. And then again, that open API, open architecture that we have. So job scheduling we talked about earlier, automatically send out, invoices, emails, things like that. All of that part of the system. So I know you guys are all familiar with this slide here. Okay, so how Accounting Seed works with Salesforce. Many different ways that Accounting Seed works with Salesforce. I know you guys are familiar with certain products, definitely. So Sales Cloud's one of those. Accounting Seed's natural connection point is actually going to be at the opportunity. So as soon as that opportunity hits that closed won status, Accounting Seed will now take over. And so the features for that are going to be anything on the accounts receivable side. So money coming into the business. We can now create different billings, recurring billings, and recognize that revenue as well. Inventory and orders as well. So from that opportunity, we can create a sales order and go ahead and send that out. We can also create projects also so that we can track project profitability, things like that. So recently, Accounting Seed actually also built a connection to Salesforce's nonprofit success pack. So through NPSP, we're connected at the donation, which is the opportunity, but the full general ledger capability, that full project capability to where we can track the different grants, different funds, things like that, and then banking as well for all of that. Also, field service lightning. So everything really prior to the creation of the work order will still take place in field service lightning. So all of the resource planning, scheduling, things like that, dispatching, that'll all take place in field service lightning. But now where Accounting Seed is taken over is right at the work order standpoint. So once that work order has been created and approved, money coming into the business, the AR side of things, that's where we can take over. Create a sales order from there, create a billing from there, things like that right over there. And then if there's any sort of, custom objects, any other native applications to Salesforce, again, our features flow through from there as well. So you can connect your custom objects that you have. I know a lot of times you guys might be having to build custom objects, things like that. Not to worry, because we're built on that platform, because we have that open architecture and API, you can easily connect that to Accounting Seed and everything will flow through. It gives you that full visibility into the system. Any questions so far, you guys, before we continue? We're all doing good? Okay, I'm gonna keep going. All right, different competitors that you might be hearing or that you might be familiar with. QuickBooks, obviously very big one, but QuickBooks is there, Financial Force, Sage Intacct, things like that. You guys might be using some of these systems maybe right now. Might know clients using them as well, but biggest difference here really is, let's start with QuickBooks. QuickBooks is actually built off platform. Really what that means is, so they're not leveraging the power that Salesforce has like Accounting Seed is. You're working in 2 databases. That's the whole thing over here. You're having to use some sort of integration, some sort of syncing tool to make those 2 systems talk together, whether it's MuleSoft, DB Sync, something like that. So And because of that, you're having to enter data in two systems. You're having to enter, your clients into QuickBooks, but you're also having to enter them into Salesforce as well. This makes for continual manual entry, which we know every time there's manual entry, there's room for error. Also, this makes for continual reconciliation as well. You're constantly having to reconcile your two systems. As Salesforce administrators, one of the biggest things I hear is that you're having to pull data from systems. Every single time accounting or somebody needs to do something, you're having to extract that data from one system, pull it, give it to whoever needs it. That's not the case with Accounting Seed. Again, everything's there, everything's in a single system. So you're not extracting any data. That data is already there, like you would have to do with QuickBooks. You're not having to maintain a MuleSoft or a DB Sync or anything like that to keep up that integration. You're not having to write any scripts to make sure that those two systems are talking. So that's the difference there. With Financial Force and Sage, so these guys, Financial Force really does focus on the PSA market. While they do have somewhat of a configurable user interface, it is difficult to configure it. It does come with a cost. They are focused on the enterprise market. So all of this does come with a cost. And also, accounting really is secondary to what they're doing. They've said they really like to focus on that PSA side of the market. They like to focus on the enterprise side. And with that, they've built a system to where they do like you to use it the way that they've kind of built it. You can configure it, but again, that does come with the cost as well. QuickBooks and Sage, that's another one to where they've built their systems exactly that way. We do hear a lot of people saying, especially with QuickBooks, it's hard to customize, and the fact, if there's a data tag that you want to add there and QuickBooks doesn't have it, it's not really a system to where you can add it. They've designed it the way that they would like it to be used. That's not the case with Accounting Seed. Again, you guys all know how to add a field, add a data tag that can easily be done in Salesforce and Accounting Seed. So a couple things over there. Okay. So just like Salesforce, Accounting Seed is not industry specific. Really what that means is we're built to work with any and all industries. So as you can see from over here, many different types of industries we're working with. We're working with the healthcare industry, legal foundations, state agencies. We also work with distribution companies, manufacturing companies, different things like that. Solar, many different ones. We're in really every market. So financial services, nonprofits as well. Really every industry works with Accounting Seed just like Salesforce. And again, the reason for that is because we're leveraging everything that Salesforce has to offer in our application. This all-in-one solution is not something that you're going to outgrow. You really can't outgrow Salesforce, therefore you really can't outgrow Accounting Seed. Everything that they have to offer flows through to the application to really be able to work with any and every industry out there. Okay. All right, let me hit the escape button here real quick and let's take a look at Accounting Seed. Can you guys still see my screen okay?
Yep.
All right, awesome.
Gotcha.
So this is our homepage. So when you install Accounting Seed, and again, you can see I'm just logged into my Salesforce org over here. But so when you install or when you open up your Salesforce org, you're going to immediately have access to Accounting Seed's application. You can see this is our homepage. It's really the collection of our functionality that we offer. We've got about 9 different tiles here. Did I count that right? Yeah. Sorry, guys. It's almost 5 o'clock. We've got about 9 different tiles over here that has different functionality that Accounting Seed offers. A couple areas that Mitch and I are going to focus on today. So you can see, money coming into the business. So all this cash in functionality. Again, we share certain data tables with Salesforce or certain objects. So one of those tables being the opportunities. So the opportunity will flow through. You can see, click into an opportunity over here. Standard Salesforce opportunity. You can have your different paths associated with that, quotes enabled as well if you'd like. And then, so this is where we were talking about. So once this stage hits that closed won process, this is where Accounting Seed will take over. You can see we've added our functionality to the opportunity object. And so different actions from here in your action menu. You can create a project, create a billing, create a recurring billing, especially for the service related industries, any ongoing services that related billing is there. You can create a sales order as well as the regular functionality, but different Accounting Seed actions that we've done over there. And then any products, again, so there's another object that we're going to leverage from Salesforce. There are products, any approval history that might be part of that, and then full audit tracking as well. So you can see the different history, different fields that were changed, things like that. Full audit capabilities there. And then any sort of activity, chatter, emails, you guys are all familiar with that. Okay, so that's the opportunity that we're going to take a look at. And then cash out functionality. So, money going out of your business, you can, paying your vendors, things like that. Banking functionality as well. We talked about, different banks and credit card institutions. And then, so the other area we'll also focus on is reporting. So actually, let's skip that for right now, and we'll do the account object is another one that we're leveraging. Again, we talked about how being off platform, you're having to enter maybe your customer into QuickBooks, and then you're having to enter it into Salesforce. So you really don't have your systems talking together. With Accounting Seed, we're leveraging the same account object. It's a natural connection that we have over there. So this now adds different functionality to the account object that you can see. So you can create payments, you can manage payments from here. And now we've, same thing. It looks, you guys are familiar with this page. Industry type, you can track parent accounts if you have that. And then accounting information now has come in. So you can track different variables. These are all different data tags. Is this a customer or vendor? You can run reports on that. And then we've also added our accounting tab. Ignore this says student billing. We were messing around with report types in here, and we just added this. So ignore that for right now, but you can have a report chart on the account object, and then different opportunities associated with that. So we can see all the different opportunities, different stages, close dates, things like that. Any billings now associated with this account. Was this an invoice? Was this a receipt? What's the aging on this? Does anybody over here owe me money? Is it part of a different company? Is it part of my company? Was this email sent out? Do I need to send it out? Things like that, full visibility. And then any cash receipts. So cash receipts, any money that's already been applied to these billings, you can have that full visibility into here. Any recurring billings that might be associated with that. Payment methods. Is it a credit card, bank account, things like that. Sales orders can be created, any sales orders associated with that. So it's full visibility, all these related lists. We have all these relationships to the different objects now from Accounting Seed right on that account object as well. Okay, and then like I said, we did talk about reporting, so let's jump into that. So with our financial reporter, this is our accounting Seed report that we offer. So these are your typical balance sheets, profit and loss versus budget, things like that. But now we're going to also leverage Salesforce's management reports and dashboards as well. I know you guys are all familiar with creating different management reports and leveraging Salesforce Reporter. And you can see we've Accounting Seed gives you maybe about a couple dozen reports out of the box, so that way your clients can use that. But same sort of functionality though, full drill down capabilities. You can take a look at everything. You can drill into this hyperlink, see what makes up these amounts, different things like that. You can go back to the account. Same tools that we have over here. Also, instead of, I know you guys are familiar with this, but now instead of you guys having to extract any data, instead of you guys having to create any reports, once the report is created, there is that subscribe feature. So that way it can automatically be sent out to whoever needs this report. It can be sent out daily, it can be sent out at a certain time, it can be sent out conditionally as well. Hey, when this condition happens, send this report to so-and-so. Attachments can be added there as well. And then of course you can export that as well. And then we're also going to leverage dashboards as well from Salesforce. So we've created an accounting dashboard. It's got about maybe about a dozen different components on there, but you can add different filters, and then you can see all the different components associated with that. You can drill down into the underlying reports. This is a great one, you know, any tasks that might be associated there. So if you're closing accounting periods, need to follow up on any activities, send out emails, it's a great one to kind of have. Any agings that you might want to look at, things like that. All of that is over here. And again, these are just, you know, you can click through, scroll through these. This is all Salesforce power that we're leveraging in Accounting Seed, and now we've just added those. And then you can, same thing over here, subscribe feature, all of that, create new dashboards, edit, refresh, adding those filters based off of certain conditions. So all of that part of Accounting Seed, again, that we're harnessing from Salesforce. This is a great system because it's nothing new that you guys need to learn. You guys are very familiar with Salesforce, so it's not a new system that you're having to learn. You're already familiar with the technology, so you'll be completely familiar with Accounting Seed as well. I'm gonna take a pause over there. I feel like I've been talking for a long time. Any questions, you guys, so far?
Can you show me where you got those standard dashboards?
Yeah, absolutely.
I missed it, and then I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I've just missed that step. Sorry.
No, you're good, no problem. So dashboards are, you know, so if you're going to the easiest way, just going through Accounting Home,
Okay.
and then just click on our dashboard functionality. From here, if you go to, you know, all dashboards, those are my recent ones, but you can,
right,
you know, the different ones that Accounting Seed has installed, you can always create a new one as well. That way you can create that, put it to a private folder if you'd like, and then drag those different components that you would like for that dashboard on there. But yep.
Yeah. Got it. And then they need anyone to be able to see those dashboard values would they need licenses to Accounting Seed, or is it can be provisioned via, like, if the admin was running the dashboard and report?
So the easiest way to think about it is anybody that needs access to the Accounting Seed data is going to need a Salesforce and Accounting Seed license. Again, because we're built and we're leveraging, we're so ingrained in Salesforce that you can't have Accounting Seed without having Salesforce. So you can't see Accounting Seed without having a Salesforce license. However, there are different ways. If somebody truly just needs to see a report or just needs to see a dashboard, they can easily, I mean, you can have them subscribe to that. Let me click into that so that you can, that's going to be loading a new one. I knew it was going to do that to me.
Right.
Where did I lose it? All right, so right over here. So you can actually have them subscribe to that as long as they have access to that underlying report, because these dashboards are dynamic. So meaning that they do need to have access to that underlying report. Whatever access they may or may not have is going to flow through to this dashboard. So for example, if they don't have access to billings, then they're not going to be able to see some of this information. So it is dynamic in that sense. But yep, you can absolutely subscribe to that. And then you can have that, you know, sent over accordingly. Did that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions? I got one. Let's keep it going. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to hand it off to Mitch to dive a little bit deeper into some of these areas. And that way you guys don't have to hear me talk the whole time too. So let me stop my share. And then you got it, Mitch?
Yep, I have it. So I'm going to go
All
ahead
right.
and share my screen right now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, you guys should be looking at the accounting homepage. You guys all able to see that?
Yep.
Perfect. So I know Elle had pretty quickly gone over, you know, an overview of the Accounting Seed functionality that we offer. I wanted to do just a quick run through of our Accounting Seed homepage. As you guys can really tell that we are a module-based accounting system. So when it comes to the grouping of the different features that we offer, you know, they're grouped in things like cash in for customer-related transactions, cash out for vendor-related transactions, banking for all of your banking needs, reporting for the 3 different reporting tools that we offer within Accounting Seed. projects for project accounting. Something I just want to expand on here. This isn't necessarily project management, but when it comes to project accounting and going ahead and calculating, revenue or expenses or time that is allocated to a project, and then being able to report around that is something that we definitely offer. Orders and inventory for, any of your inventory management needs, whether it's sales orders, purchase orders, managing warehouses and locations. And then we have your master data set up to manage things like customer vendor accounts, contacts, tax groups, and PDFs. And as we move along, we just have your general ledger set up. So these are going to be more managing your back office general ledger items like your GL accounts, your accounting variables, which are really kind of a second dimension to your chart of accounts. And if any of you guys are familiar with QuickBooks, they're really similar to classes. So you're able to use your variables to track things like different divisions, departments, cost centers, regions, anything like that. Managing your accounting periods from your open and close process within the system. Like Ellen mentioned, we do have multi-ledger functionality. So when it comes to running multiple businesses on one instance of Accounting Seed, which is something that we see a lot of our customers do, this is where they can go to create those new additional transactional ledgers. And we have your accounting settings page, which I'll drill into for you guys. This is really where you can manage your default GL accounts in the system. And while this page loads, I'll just tell you about, within here, you can also go ahead and set up things like your default PDFs. So we do have PDFs for things like your billing format, your billing activity statement, billing outstanding statement, default purchase order, and a default packing slip. So if you have multiple entities, like you can see, I've listed in this org right here, company A, B, and C, you're able to default the bank account in any one of these additional formats. So this comes into play, obviously when you have different PDFs with different companies and you want, your logo for, each company defaulted on the address information, the look and feel of it, you guys are able to go ahead and really kind of customize that and tailor it to your need. Our PDFs in our package are really just comprised of a Visualforce page. So this is something that I'm sure a lot of you guys are able to do as Salesforce admins. You guys are able to go ahead and access the base code for our Visualforce page through our knowledge base. And you can take that and just go ahead and create a new Visualforce page with that code and make any adjustments, whether you want to add custom fields, custom section, anything like that. So it's very flexible in terms of, configuring this to your need. So while we're in here, I just wanted to talk about a couple other things. Like Ellen mentioned, we do have an integration to Stripe. So coming in here, you're able to go ahead and link your Stripe account to Accounting Seed. There's no additional fee for this charge. We have it linked right here. Usually, if it wasn't linked, you would see a connect button, and you essentially just sign in with your Stripe ID. It's that easy to go ahead and do. And you can configure the payment link. So part of the Stripe integration is the ability to have a payment link that gets sent out when you email out the billing PDF record. Like Ellen mentioned, they can go ahead and enter in their credit card information, and that schedules, and triggers the generation of a cash receipt and a billing cash receipt to apply that cash receipt to the billing. So you can configure that within here. Something else I wanted to talk about that Ellen mentioned, we do have a direct integration to Avalara. So within here, you can go ahead and really select whether you want to use the Accounting Seed native tax functionality or whether or not you want to use the Avalara sales tax. So this is always something that's good to know, if using Accounting Seed and when evaluating Accounting Seed based off of your sales tax management needs. If you guys are dealing with multiple sales tax jurisdictions, this is something that really comes into play. Avalara is a tax management system, and what they do is through their integration is based off the date, or I'm sorry, the address on the billing record. It'll go ahead and automatically calculate the tax that is within that jurisdiction based off the different nexuses. So this is something that really comes in handy if you have complex tax management needs. So you don't have to go ahead and create the tax rates in the system, keep up to date in terms of if those tax rates change. what tax rate needs to be applied to this billing, that's all handled for you. So that's definitely a cool integration that we have that I see a lot of our customers using. One last thing within here, I just wanted to show you our automation center. So within here, we have a bunch of scheduled jobs that are within our package out of the box. You guys, again, like Ellen mentioned, you guys can create your own scheduled jobs, for pretty much any data object or area within the accounting seat application. But we do provide some out of the box. So we have functionality, like Ellen mentioned, recurring billing, recurring payable, recurring journal entries. So these are really kind of templated items that you can have a billing, a payable, or a journal entry generated from, on a biweekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual basis. So this will go ahead and look at the date and look at the frequency, and it will automatically generate those records for you. So when it comes to scheduling these jobs, you can come in here, and we also have automated email billing. So you can have your billings automatically emailed out for you. We have a scheduled post job in our system, so it can post these records. One thing to note, in our system, in order for the financial transactions to get generated, which post to the general ledger, they have to be posted first, the record that is. And that the posting of that record is what creates those financial transactions. So this helps with that process when it comes to the posting of those records like billings, cash receipts, cash disbursements, journal entries in our system. So, again, this is geared, towards the idea of automating a lot of your back office accounting needs in the system. And then a scheduled bank download, which ties into our Bank Direct Connect. And I can talk about that in just a minute, because I think that's a pretty cool area that we see a lot of our clients using. So I will go back to the accounting homepage and just talk about that very briefly. The Bank Direct Connect is an integration to a third-party partner we have that has a connection to over 14,500 different banks and credit card companies. So kind of the benefit here is really the ability to go ahead and connect any one of your financial institution accounts as long as it's supported. And most of the time we see if you're using a bigger bank, it's obviously supported, but I have seen smaller banks be supported as well. But I guess the functionality here is really that you can take a look at all of your bank or credit card transactions. You guys have the ability to code them from a GL perspective if you want to tag any projects or project tasks, or GL account variables. So like I mentioned, those are used, to track things like transactions related to departments, cost centers, regions, locations, anything like that. All of that can be coded and that can be pushed into the system as a record. So I can just come in here really quickly and just kind of show you around. It's very easy to set up. We kind of have 3 tabs in here. You're really just selecting the start and the end date and which bank account you want to look at in order to pull through all of your bank or credit card transactions into a staging screen. You're able to map these bank accounts directly to a ledger as well as a GL bank account. And then really the Manage Banks tab is where you can set up a connection to link your bank or credit card. So within here, you can search, you can just see some popular bank sites right here. So, we could do USAA, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, US Bank, any of these. And it's as simple as coming in here and really just entering in your banking information, your online ID, passcode, re-enter the passcode, and you just click next. And it's going to just ask you to confirm that you want to connect this. So, this is definitely a tool that we see a lot of people utilizing. As we kind of go back to the accounting homepage, one thing I wanted to circle up with you guys on was kind of the connection points to Salesforce. So out of the box, I know Ellen mentioned that we connect to the opportunity object. That isn't the only object that we connect to in Salesforce out of the box. We have connections, to CPQ, Field Service Lightning, the Nonprofit Success Pack, and as well as I wanted to talk about just kind of the ability to connect our system to any custom object that you guys really have. One thing I wanted to show you is just the work order object. So this is really for Field Service Lightning. We have the ability to push this into Accounting Seed as either a billing or a sales order. So, this is really just dependent on, if you're using Field Service Lightning for something like inventoried products or, you know, just services. If it's just services, you can push it directly into accounting seat as a billing. If there's inventory allocation, you can push this into a sales order so you guys can, you know, deal with sales order allocation. But those are really kind of our connection points to Salesforce out of the box. But, you know, one thing I wanted to say and just kind of reiterate is the fact that we are 100% native to the Salesforce platform. So for you guys, when it comes to, you know, creating data relationships, that's as easy as creating, you know, a lookup field. That's something that all of you guys are able to do. When it comes to, you know, adding a trigger to push information from, you know, really any object in Salesforce, whether that's another standard object in Salesforce, whether that's, you know, a custom object that your organization is utilizing and you want to push that in, that's absolutely possible. Some of the common integration points that we see and connection points for Salesforce, that is, would be things like our billings, which is, you know, really just a customer invoice, our payables for vendor invoices, and then our journal entries down here. So those are some really common integration points that I just want you guys to keep in mind. You know, I was thinking of, you know, some use cases for accounting seat and where you would really want that connection to start, because it definitely doesn't have to be based off of our pre-connections to Salesforce through accounting seat. So one other thing that I wanted to, you know, just talk to you guys about was, you know, some of the other features we have, you know, as it relates to, you know, managing multiple ledgers. You know, we're utilizing the full Salesforce tool set, like Ellen mentioned. So when it comes to, you know, the ledger manager, which is really just a utility bar, this is something that we offer. So, you know, if you're using multi-entities in one instance of Salesforce and you want to, you know, use accounting seat to manage those entities, you know, we have a separate complete transactional general ledger for each entity. And coming down here using this ledger manager, which again is just a utility bar in Salesforce, you're able to go ahead and select which company you're working in. And once you select that entity or that company, every transaction that you create in the system will be tagged with that data tag for that ledger. Cool. So this isn't something, you know, that you have to do on every single transaction. You really just come to the ledger manager tool and you're able to select which company or entity you're working in, and it'll automatically code that transaction to the appropriate entity. And when it comes to things like controlling, you know, user access to who has access to what ledger, you know, this is something that we've seen, you know, our clients customize in terms of, you know, going ahead and putting restrictions in there through sharing settings and, you know, level of access for a user. So, you know, you may only want, you know, the accountant from company A, obviously, to only look at, you know, company A's records and not company B's. So you can, you know, put in, you know, restrictions just utilizing the Salesforce toolset that enable you guys to do that within the system. So one thing I just wanted to jump into was one of our modules. And as you'll see, you know, from looking around our product, it's really designed to make it look and feel like you're never leaving Salesforce, because you're not. And you guys are, you know, I'm sure you guys can tell that just from looking at one of our modules. All of our modules are very similar in this instance. You know, we're utilizing list views within Salesforce. So you guys can, again, come in here and create any custom list views that you want. We do have standard list views out of the box, but most of our clients are going ahead and tailoring these based off their needs. So these are just customer invoices, billings. They can group these by, you know, the approved status, you know, company A, company B, outstanding, you know, PDF email sent, posted, unsent. You know, you're able to go ahead and schedule, you know, and set this up however you would like. From the list view, we also have additional functionality like batch processing. So when it comes to receiving payments, so charging a credit card that is on file for that customer account, you can do that by just selecting the different billings within this list view and clicking on receive payment. We can mass create the PDFs for each one of these billings and actually send these out. So you can do this in mass, and I think that's how a lot of our customers are doing this. But, you know, like I mentioned before, through the automation center that we have those scheduled jobs. So, you know, you can do this through mass selecting different billings and records within the list view, but it doesn't have to be like this. You know, we see more and more of our clients are looking to eliminate clicks and really utilize the Salesforce toolset through scheduled jobs to automate a bunch of their accounting processes. So, you know, we've built that in there for our clients who want to take advantage of that. So that's just one thing I want to let you guys know. We can also merge billings. We have additional list view billings here when it comes to batch posting, and batch unposting. The posting process was, again, something that we have as a scheduled job in our system. What I want to do now is just drill down into one of these individual records and show you guys what that looks like, and the look and feel of it, and maybe open a billing invoice and kind of talk about that a little bit. So again, this looks exactly like a Salesforce record, because it really is a Salesforce record just within our custom objects. You guys, can really come in here and add custom fields like Al had mentioned. When it comes to editing the page layout, that's just utilizing standard Salesforce functionality again. So we do have out of the box page layouts that come with Accounting Seed, but we see a lot of our customers going ahead and configuring this based off of their needs. So you can see down here, we just have all of this information, but again, custom fields can definitely be added here. When it comes to, actually what this billing PDF looks like, I'll just go ahead and show you guys that real quickly. Again, this is comprised of a Visualforce page in Salesforce. So coming down here, we can see the Salesforce email template that we utilize. We don't have our own email template that we use within the system. Really, when our email functionality is really just piggybacked on top of what Salesforce offers. So you guys can go in there, create your own, templates, utilize ours if you guys want. And then we're able to obviously add attachments here, which is something that I think a lot of our customers are utilizing. And then this is really what the billing PDF looks like. Obviously, keep in mind, like I mentioned, this is very customizable. So it's very easy to add your own, logo here, address information, or footer. These are all things that, you do not have to alter the Visualforce page for. If you did want to, remove columns, add columns, or custom fields, that is something you would have to edit the Visualforce page for. But for admins like you guys, I'm sure that's not a daunting task. So, that's very easy to do within the system. And then you can just reference that Visualforce page on the PDF format, and you guys are good to go. So I know we're running up to the end of the presentation. So, I just wanted to stop, and I know I walked through a bunch of information with you guys. So I just wanted to see if you guys had any questions, anything that I could answer for you guys or drill down into from what you guys have seen, which we, if we hadn't gone into a specific area. Cool. Well, I take it you guys don't have any questions. So I guess in conclusion, I just wanted to, reiterate that Accounting Seed is a complete back office general ledger. We're 100% built on the Salesforce platform. And really our goal as an application is really to be the most configurable and customizable back office accounting solution on the Salesforce platform. So I hope, our presentation today kind of reiterated that and was able to give you guys a glimpse into what we're able to offer to the Salesforce platform.
So I had a quick question. So there's 9 widgets on your homepage. Is that standard, or is that license based, depending on how would determine how many widgets you have available to you?
Widgets. So are you talking about these different?
I think he means,
cash in, cash out, banking, all 9 of those. Are those always available for every accounting?
Yeah, that is a great question. So the only thing that is not available if you didn't purchase it would be orders and inventory. So we really have 2 packages that are available for purchase. One is our core accounting financial suite package, which encompasses everything on here except orders and inventory. Orders and inventory is its own package that we sell. And like I said, this is really for inventory management needs. So if you do not purchase Accounting Seed orders and inventory, you would not have access to most of these data objects. The only one you would have access to is products, because again, you can, standard. And you can use products, for, services. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a physical item. We see a lot of our clients that are utilizing products like that. And again, it's a standard object, so you guys have access to it.
Yeah, and then Mark, just to jump in there, so that orders and inventory tile, in essence, that widget that Mitch is displaying, that would still display on the accounting home currently. again, though, users just wouldn't have access to like clicking into the sales order. They would still see the tile there. Right now, this is actually one of our Visualforce pages. It is one of the areas that we have kind of kept standard. Our development team is looking at moving that so that way the Accounting Seed homepage can be a little bit more configurable based on that. But right now, when you install, you would see everything, and then it's just controlled from those permission sets.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, appreciate
that answered.
One last thing I just wanted to add in. So Accounting Seed is obviously Lightning compatible, but we also work in Classic.
Yeah,
so I know not everyone has made the switch over to Lightning. I know that's definitely highly encouraged, but I just wanted to let you guys know, obviously, if you guys are not on Lightning yet, we are fully, compatible with Classic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, well, appreciate that, Elle and Mitch. I mean, I love seeing how familiar it is, both from an administrative standpoint and a user standpoint in accounting, since it's all on the Salesforce platform. Like you mentioned, it's just easy for adoption, both from like I said, from an admin perspective and a user perspective for implementing it. So appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. We've tried to save our admin some work here from having to learn a new system. So you guys don't have to learn anything new, right?
Yeah, don't have to
Exactly.
reinvent the wheel, right? Yeah, for sure. So appreciate
Absolutely.
that. Okay. Awesome. All right. So if there's no other questions, I will, I think now I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And then we are going to spin the wheel. Like I mentioned, appreciate Accounting Seed coming in and presenting. Again, thank you very much. It was very insightful. Hopefully some folks learned. It was great that you guys found out you had a current customer on the line as well.
Yeah.
Chris had to drop, but that's always awesome as well. But that you have an Amazon gift card that you're going to give away. So I put everybody's name that's still currently on the call. Thank you for those hanging in there. And I'm going to spin the wheel here. If you can give me just a second. All right, and before I spin the wheel, I'm going to make sure I share my computer sound, because I always like to make sure folks can hear the clicking of the thing. So I believe I got everybody that's still here. I'm gonna go full screen here. And I'm going to click this, and it's going to randomly decide who's going to win the Accounting Seed Amazon gift card. So here we go. You ready? Oh, Rick.
All right.
Rick is the winner of the Amazon gift card.
Congratulations, Rick.
Congratulations. Awesome.
I love Accounting Seed.
Good answer, Rick.
Over and
Good
over
answer.
again, right? Accounting Seed is awesome. Okay, awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you very much to Accounting Seed for offering up that Amazon gift card. I appreciate that. So I did, again, I know we're probably running a little bit tight, but I think we have a few minutes. I just want to run through a few group updates, and then I will do some more spinning for the overall group as well. So so the first thing I wanted to just mention real quick is our Trailhead Quest. Let me pull this up real super fast. Hopefully it will be super fast, so we can kind of get a quick glance at the current quests that are out there today available. They are. So if you haven't looked out here yet, there's a few, there's always different ones popping up every month. So if you're, first of all, if you're on Trailhead completing modules, and this is obviously based on Trailhead modules, if you do one a month, you're always going to be entered into something, right? So this one, the first one here is if you have never been on Trailhead, it's the first time you've ever accessed it in the month of October, you get this cool badge here, which is awesome. You never always like the cool badges. Here's one for if you do a super badge. for the month of October. They're giving away 60 cert vouchers. So if you completed a super badge, or you could be in the drawing for one of 60 cert vouchers. Here's learn more about Winter 21. We talked about that, I think last month, or maybe the month before, I can't remember. But through October 30th, not quite the end of the month. So you got a little bit longer if you haven't already. You earn a cool unique community badge, and you also get to entered in for a cert voucher, one of 5. They're giving away 5 there. Same thing for developers. So for Winter 21 developers, even a different community badge if you're a badge collector, and 1 of 5 certs there as well. Here's one that's kind of a give back badge on learn why trees are one of our best tools to combat climate change and how you can harness the power to support the environment. So if you complete this quest, or this, I think it's a, if you complete these trails, hit the trail. So there's a trail they've created. If you complete that, you'll get this cool badge, another special badge, and then $10 will be donated to this organization to help kind of save the earth kind of deal. So, and again, any badge you earn in the month of October will earn you this Tricker Trailhead 6 badge. They've been doing it 6 years. Every October, they give you a cool Halloween looking badge, so you'll earn that. And then Tableau. If you haven't heard already, Tableau has joined the Salesforce ecosystem. And in addition to that, Einstein, I believe, has been renamed to Tableau CRM. So going Tableau heavy here. So they want you to learn the basics of Tableau. And if you earn it, you earn this cool badge here once you complete that trail. So, and then just a few other ones down here about Innovate series, a few special badges you can earn down here as well. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Get back to my slides now. All right. And again, for giving back, I always just like to mention this. If your company is not officially recognized as a Pledge 1%, definitely encourage everybody to talk to your company about what it would take. If in a lot of instances, a lot of companies probably already give back to some extent and might already meet this requirement. But especially if you do, get recognized for it by Salesforce. But if not, encourage your company and see what you can do to encourage them and learn more about this Pledge 1%, which is to pledge 1% of your product, profits, employee time. There's 1 or 2 other ones as well. So just encourage you to do at least 1% of one of those items within your company. Some upcoming administrator group events next month in November. We're going to have a overview of a product called Breadwinner. And I'm also going to, I'm going through Winter 21 next month. I apologize. So if you go through that trail, you'll get a head start on me. I'll be giving you some highlights of the Winter 21 release as well. And that's going to happen on Wednesday, November 18th, same time. Going to be virtual as well. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to do a virtual holiday happy hour in December on a Wednesday, December 9th from 5 to 6 p.m. And I'm still looking into a potential volunteer opportunity. If anybody knows of one in the Jacksonville area that we can physically go to and help some people out during this holiday, especially this year when a lot of people have been impacted due to COVID-19, be happy to try to coordinate that for sure. So keep an eye open for that once we get something hopefully finalized for a volunteer opportunity in December. Okay. And again, as always, make sure if you took any cool pictures or want to share something, feel free to do that on anywhere in social media. If you're doing it on Twitter, make sure you mention our group, which is that right there. It's JacksFL_SF_Ohana. And here's a few other pics from previous meetings we've had within the local group. So, okay. So any questions on any of the group updates that we've had so far? All right. If not, then I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel again here. Before I do so, I'm going to make sure. I know some folks had to drop, so I'm going to add some folks to the wheel here before I spin it. And I knew we're here earlier. So everybody's name's on here that was here throughout the day today. I'm actually going to spin this 3 times to identify a winner. And I didn't mention it earlier. So Rick, if you don't mind sending me your email address just to confirm that, and I'll get that to Shannon, at Accounting Seed here that's on as well. But I'll make sure she get your email address so she can you can get that Amazon gift card. Same thing for these as well. It was on here. Make sure you send me an email at mark.lester@trailblazerscgl.com, CGL for community group leader.com, and I'll make sure that you get the winning. So we'll do a few spins here, and then we'll see who's going to win. Let's try it. Let's do this. All right, so first spin will be timeout. Rick, I appreciate you, but I'm going to take your name out of this if you don't mind, since you've already won.
Fair enough.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you. No double winners today. All right, so let's spin this bad boy. See what we get. First winner is Inda. All right, Inda, I think had to leave earlier. She was on earlier, but appreciate her joining. And I'll reach out to her to get her email and get that to her, a gift card to her. So, and again, these gift cards that I'm giving away now are for Trailhead, something that the Salesforce support team is trying to introduce to allow us to be able to continue during these virtual events to do the whole swag giveaway, but in a more of a virtual way, obviously. So the best way I deemed fit was to utilize gift cards. So we'll do a few different gift cards so we can distribute it out a little bit. So congratulations to Inda. Let's remove Inda and we'll do a couple more turns here. Next winner will be all right, so Dan, who I believe also had to leave early, but appreciate Dan joining for the majority of the session today. And let's do at least one more, maybe a couple. I want to try to get somebody that's present.
So what's this for? Training, Mark, or swag?
Swag. This is for swag for Trailhead, for any like Trailhead item, that's in the Trailhead store. Will, I believe, had to leave earlier as well. So let's do at least one more here, and hopefully somebody that's present will win. But if not, then I'll reach out to those 4 individuals to get their info. So, speak of the person who just asked about that. So we do have somebody present. So you spoke it right up there, I see. Awesome. Good job, Andy. Congratulations. And
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And thank you everybody for joining today and sticking through for this entire session. I know 2.5 hours sometimes is tough, especially in 2020, but hope you guys got something. Again, I recorded this, so if anybody wants to go back and listen, if you were dual working there, if you were doing actual stuff for your company and trying to listen in, we'll make sure that recording's out there for you to listen to as you need to. And I'll share it with the rest of the group too. I know not everybody in the group was able to join today, so I'll make sure everybody has an opportunity to have access to this and listen to it. So thanks again. Hopefully I'll see everybody in November when we have our next session, talk about Breadwinner and Winter 21 release highlights. But again, thank you everybody for joining us today. Appreciate it, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you to the presenters too.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, thank you to Elle and Mitch for sure. And thanks Shannon for helping me coordinate it and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys.
Sure. All right, we'll see you, Rick.